Hello. Yes, okay, it's working.
What's up, my dudes?
Could we turn the... Did I mute it? I mute it. Okay. Why? If I just... I got this.
So am I wearing this the whole time?
No, you're
I
not.
just wanted to use it for the thumbnail.
Oh, okay.
And then this is the thumbnail that's on there. Totally
That's
pointless.
just what's happening right now. When it's later, people can view it again. The thumbnail will show up. That's just the frame that was happening currently.
Yeah, it's right here. See?
Okay.
Every time you look at me, baby,
Press paste, you stupid thing.
Oh my god.
Show me.
People.
What?
Ow.
Who would make a video anyways about featuring firearms?
Logan Paul.
Lots of people.
Logan Paul, okay, yeah, he probably would, to be honest.
That's what I said.
Wait a second. What am I trying to do here? I completely forget. What was I trying to do?
I don't know whether you know, do you?
Wait, I was over here. I was trying to raise the volume. That's what I was trying to do. Gotta see. If I go to my channel just to say it's live. No, it's not online. Oh my god. Oh my god. Google, you're awful.
Are we still live?
Yes.
Or just like... Oh, okay. Stare at the mic. Stare at the mic. I already did that.
Can you stop touching stuff?
No, well,
I don't want you to do anything anymore.
I was trying to. If you go to the live control room, I can just buff up the audio a little bit. I felt like it was kind of too low.
Okay, but it seems like you're breaking stuff. Like,
I wasn't. It was just weird page.
okay. Are you done? Did you do it or?
No, I did not.
Nope.
Oh, I'm already here. Never mind. I'm already here.
Nope. Okay, let's move on.
What was that? What was that? Whoa. Okay, cool. It says how long we've been streaming up there.
I'm trying to make sure you speak up so that everybody can hear you real good in there.
Okay.
I thought we were talking normally now, but then once we start, the little ball thing's just gonna be all the way to the top.
Test, test, test.
Bye.
Test, test, test.
Bye.
All right, so we're not starting with the what's up part. We're starting with Tyler's part, which is the special guest part. So,
Can I
Can
say
you
what's
spit it?
up?
no.
I want to say what's up. And be like, what's up, my dudes? And then, like, that'll be the
You
what's up.
can do that when I introduce you.
Okay.
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 You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Oh, hold on.
All right.
I
You
need.
didn't post on Twitter.
Huh?
You didn't post on
I
Twitter.
did that already. Thanks.
Okay.
What's up, my
I
dude?
need that list. Okay.
It was weird the way it came out because when I showed
You can
when
also.
when I had it in my notes right here, it had like a graph by it, so I
Here,
figured it
I'm
would just
gonna-
take the picture.
I'm pretty sure you can
I'm
also
gonna move this
share.
on a simple note real quick.
Yeah, you can share it with Twitter on here too.
Okay, cool.
So if you need to, you can just search straight out here.
But yeah, the way I had it like organized, like better.
Boom.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But
Yeah, you
actually-
can't keep that kind of formatting in a text message.
That's well, I wish I would just take a picture of this.
Well, I mean, you can if you want to. Just take a screen cap of it and just send it to me.
Oh, but now it's all. Whoa, what is it?
That's
doing?
good enough. I got it.
Yeah. Okay.
I just put it on simple notes, and now I have it on here.
Okay. Do we have any viewers?
No.
Oh, that's sad.
We will at one point because I posted on Twitter.
Oh, maybe we're gonna have the people who.
You can post it on your Snapchat.
How do I do that?
It's just a link. Are you able to do that?
I mean, you just have to like write the link.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's
Do it.
go.
Yeah. Okay. What? Wait, what'd you say?
So let's freaking go.
Oh, okay.
Deep breath.
All right.
All right, everybody, welcome to the show. Our special guest this week. I'm not sure how many times this makes for him on Howdy Radio, the next generation. I don't really care, to be honest with you. 5, he says. Welcome to the show, my kid, Tyler.
Hello.
What's going on, man?
A lot, actually.
That's true. That's why we have you on the show, right?
Yeah.
So let's tell the people what has happened. So today, while we're recording this, it's Sunday. 2 days ago on Friday, which was March 23rd, started the 3-day horror movie convention here in Cincinnati at the Sharonville Convention Center called Horror Hound Weekend. We bought a 3-day pass through Groupon, actually. It was a $39 deal for all 3 days. But as we mentioned earlier on the show, Saturday we went up to Columbus for the basketball game. So we ended up not being able to go all 3 days because we had to go to the basketball game. We couldn't skip that. So we ended up going Friday and Sunday. We had just a huge amount of fun. So what we want to do here is we want to kind of like go through and tell people what we did and what we saw, and we're going to split it up into 2 segments. We're going to tell you what happened Friday, and then the ukulele music will play, and then we will tell you what happened on Sunday. So that's that. Lane did not go with us. Some of these stories he might be hearing for the first time, but just because this was mine and Tyler's trip does not mean that I don't want you to talk about it as well. And you can tell us that you're mad at us for meeting all the cool people that we met, or you can say, I think it's stupid that you spent money on a piece of wood. We'll get to all of that, right? So, Tyler, Horror Hound, what'd you think?
It was awesome.
So this is your first movie convention, or really any type of convention, really, right?
Yeah.
Ever?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. I've been to like Reds Fest a couple times, which is like a baseball convention.
Oh, I went to that one. The 4 of us went to that one time.
Yeah. So we've been to Reds Fest. We've been to Cavalcade of Customs, which is like a car convention. Remember that? Me, you, and Taggart went.
That's where we met American Gladiators, right?
Yeah, and the Bengals and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so that was a convention. So we've been to a couple conventions. I had been to one horror movie convention in the past. Me and my old buddy Ryan, just on a random whim, drove down to Florida from Cincinnati, Ohio, to go to a Fangoria horror movie convention back in 2000. We snuck in. We didn't pay to get in. We got to meet all kinds of cool people. And I had not been to a horror movie convention since then, which I don't know why I haven't. And especially with how much fun we had this weekend.
Yeah.
So let's start from the beginning. We got there Friday. The doors opened at 5. I think we got there right around 5, maybe
like 4:45-ish.
Okay, so real close. We walk up to the front of the building. I got my little printed off Groupon in hand, and the woman's like, "You got to go back to door C." And we're like, "All right, cool." And then we walk around the corner of the convention center, and then there's about 1.5 zillion people in line to get in through room to door C. So that part sucked. Yes. So we had to, but it was everybody coming to the convention for the first time for the weekend. This was the line that you had to like redeem to get your wristband for the weekend. Mm-hmm. So everybody had to go through this line. There was no way to go around it. So that line was about an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half or so.
Yeah.
Right around in there. And we were getting worried because the first thing that was on our itinerary of stuff that we wanted to do was to go to the Walking Dead panel, which started at 6 o'clock. Mm-hmm. So we were in line and we knew we were getting close, and we thought like, well, the Walking Dead panel is going to be packed by this point. There's no way we'll be able to get in. So we finally got through the doors at like 6:10 or so.
Yeah, we weren't too far off.
Yeah. And I wasn't familiar with how this thing was laid out. I didn't know where we were going. I didn't know where any of the different halls were, but we had a little map, and it didn't take long to figure out where the stuff was. So we went directly to the room where they did all the panels, and we made it in for the Walking Dead panel. So that was our first thing. The very first thing we did, Walking Dead panel. Well, before we got to the Walking Dead panel, we did have to like walk through like this other main room that had like all the different like vendors set up, and already like right off the bat I was like, oh my god, I want to buy everything here. But we had to go through all that to get to the other room. So we didn't have time to stop and like look at that stuff yet. So tell the people what the Walking Dead panel consisted of.
So we walked into the room, and it was like a huge auditorium full of people. And it was just the moderator and Jason Warner Smith, who plays Gavin on The Walking Dead. They were just, it was a typical Q&A segment where she asked a couple questions. Then they also eventually went out into the audience to ask questions. And it was a pretty typical Q&A, except for it was with Walking Dead people, and I was there, so I thought it was really cool.
Yep. So it was just the one guy. That was like the table that was set up. Like if you've ever seen like how they do panels at these kind of things, it looks just like any other one. There's a table with like microphones and water bottles sitting there, and those water bottles enough for,
I think it was 8 people.
8 people? Was it that many?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't think it was quite that many, but there was.
I mean,
however many,
there
was
were more than 8 people.
It was like maybe
Walking Dead related there at the convention.
Yeah. So there was all these water bottles on the stage and like at the table on the stage, and we kind of kept thinking that like somebody else is going to come out and they're all going to keep talking about The Walking Dead, but it was just the one guy the whole time, and there was multiple other Walking Dead people that were a part of the convention. So we're not really sure why it was just the one guy. It seems like it could have been I'm not saying it wasn't entertaining for what it was, but if they would have also thrown in Herschel and the other guys that were there, I feel like that would have been way more entertaining to have them all up on the stage at one time and being able to ask them all questions instead of just the one guy question.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm not talking trash about it. We thoroughly enjoyed it. We had fun listening. The guy was very entertaining with what he was saying. So it was very fun. It was very fun. It was a very fun experience. It was our first Q&A panel at a horror con. So like, that's awesome.
Definitely.
But as we learned later, as we saw other panels, his wasn't quite as good as other ones. So, yeah. What was that? So what was your takeaway from the Walking Dead panel? Like, what did you learn? What did you realize? Anything like that, or anything about the guy, like specifically him?
I mean, I learned that he's definitely really good at panels, considering he was by himself as a B-list dead character.
Yeah.
To be able to carry along a 1-hour panel by himself, all Walking Dead related. Props to that guy. And also afterwards we met him, and he's a genuinely like really cool guy.
Yeah, he was a very nice guy.
Yeah,
so that was cool. So that was our first panel. Like we got in, we got in late, but then we were still able to like kind of get a seat pretty close up front because there was some open seats still available. So that was fun. So then we finished that up, and then we went to head back over to that big main room where all the vendors are and where there's other like celebrities doing their signings and stuff like that. I think the first thing we did was go to Fright Rags. Is that correct?
Yes.
They were like right there in the corner, like right where you started in the front room. Fright Rags, for those that don't know, like they sell like horror merchandise. They make mostly t-shirts. They do also like enamel pins and stuff like that. I like their stuff a lot, and it's officially licensed merchandise. So like people are actually getting the money that should get the money instead of somebody just making a fake Army of Darkness shirt on Etsy or whatever. So yeah. I always liked Fright Rags. I like the work that they do. So I kind of knew going into the convention that they were there. So I kind of knew that I wanted to spend some money at their booth. And most of their shirts were $25, but they had a little table of shirts that were on clearance for $10. And I found, so here's where it comes into handy if you're watching us on YouTube, because we're actually going to use YouTube here to like show the cool things that we got. So if you're listening to the podcast version, I'm sorry, you're actually going to miss out on a little bit of the fun this time.
Skip back. You've been blocking Tyler's face the whole time.
Oh, okay. So here is, sorry, we're not used to doing stuff for the camera. Usually we don't really care about the YouTube, but so here is the Halloween shirt that I bought. It's just the cover, the poster of the first movie, but it was on clearance for $10. I was like, I can't pass up an awesome Halloween shirt for $10.
Yeah.
And then I was still like, well, they'll still, of course, have all the other shirts for the whole weekend. So I was still thinking like I might buy an Evil Dead shirt because that's kind of what I was wanting to get. But then, as you'll see, why I ended up not being able to buy another Evil Dead shirt. So that was my first purchase right off the bat. Boom, $10 at Fright Rags.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was an awesome purchase. I haven't wore the shirt yet, but $10 for a cool Halloween shirt, absolutely awesome deal, I think. So then tell them about kind of once we left Fright Rags and we started wandering through like the aisles of all these vendors. What do you think? What was some cool stuff you saw? What was the feel of the room, you think?
It was a very accepting kind of room.
Okay.
Like sometimes like people are hesitant to like be horror geeks, but like that was literally everyone who was in the room.
Yeah.
There was no jock in the corner just there to judge every single person who was there. Yeah. It was just all people just for one cause, all just hanging out together, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. And that's what I love about concerts so much is that, like, you know, in my everyday life, like I don't encounter a lot of people that are really into the same stuff I am. They're not, you know, horror movies aren't the biggest thing in the world, and like the bands I listen to are kind of, you know, the same thing. They're not the biggest thing in the world, but when you go to something like this or you go to a concert or whatever, like you're surrounded by just all like-minded people. Like you might all have completely different opinions on everything else, but at least you've got this that you like have in common, and that's enough to like make everybody be nice to each other and talk to each other and stuff like that the whole weekend. So
definitely.
Yeah, so tell them, kind of explain like the different vendors and stuff.
So you walked around and it was separate people at separate booths who had their own kind of merchandise or little accessories that they did. Some of them were like done by themselves. Some of them were just people selling products made by somebody else. One of the first things we saw was a person who did horror movies as comic book covers. Yeah. And I thought that was really cool. Like in the bottom left, it explained what comic it was from. Yeah, like what it was inspired by. Yeah, or it said an homage to Spider-Man #1 or whatever. Yeah, like one of them was it was Jason like elbow dropping Freddy Krueger as like a Freddy versus Jason kind of Easter egg kind of thing, and that was based off of a Batman comic. So I thought that was really cool. Yeah. There was a lot of there was a lot of t-shirt sales. Like there was definitely not a shortage on the amount of t-shirts that you could buy there. But I mean there was a ton of good ones. I mean there was just I could wear a lot of Rowdy Piper. Yeah, there was a lot of Rowdy Piper, which we thought was a little weird. He was in They Live. But I didn't know he was quite that predominant of a figure that would be represented like that at a horror movie con. But yeah, there was Rowdy Piper stuff all over the place. Is that the movie that's I came here to chew bubblegum? Might be. Honestly, probably. Maybe. I don't know the answer to that, I guess. I think that was just a wrestling saying, though. I don't think that was... No. That was in his movie. Was it? Okay. Well, then it might be that one. Bubblegum and kick some butt, and I'm all out of bubblegum. Yeah. Maybe like it was robbing a bank or something. I remember seeing... I know I watched They Live when I was a kid, but I think I've only seen it just the one time. I don't really remember anything else about it. Gotcha. Maybe I should watch it again and realize, like, oh, wow, that's why they sell Rowdy Piper stuff all over the place. I don't know. Gotcha. So tons of T-shirts, a bunch of Funko Pops. Yeah. If you're into Pops, this was a good place for you. And it was cool because, like, I'm kind of tired of Funko Pops. Not that I don't like them, but I mean, you see them everywhere you go. So, but the difference here is that you got to see a bunch of the ones that you never get to see in the stores because they're always gone. Yeah. So like these ones were, you know, people were selling them for like 25 or 30 bucks or whatever, which is a markup from how much they would be in the store, of course, but they're the hard to find ones. So therefore they are more valuable. But it was cool to be able to see like, oh, there's like
all of the Stranger Things ones together. Like you don't get to see that when you walk into Hot Topic and look at theirs. They don't have those still. They're all gone because the employees all bought them when they took them out of the box when they came in.
Yeah.
That's how that works. So it was cool to see some Funkos that we don't normally get to see. I personally had no interest in buying really any of them. I mean, there was a couple that I was like, oh, that's a good one. But I didn't bring money to spend on Funkos.
And there were those pixelated ones. I don't know.
There was a bunch of like 8-bit looking ones.
I still don't know what's up with that. Apparently that's the thing that Funko's doing now is 8-bit
for sure
everything.
Yeah. Because there was a ton of those all over the place. So shirts everywhere, little trinkets and stuff that like people make. That a lot of posters, a lot of art type stuff. Like one that I thought that was cool was this guy that had his own little booth. Was he's like a Blu-ray? I can't remember his name, but it was like a Blu-ray DVD cover artist. So like when they, when a new movie gets put out on Blu-ray or whatever, they need somebody to do the cover art for it. And like this was the guy that did it. And he had like Bubba Hotep, which is a Bruce Campbell movie and stuff. And like he had done that. And like, he a very, very awesome artist. So it was cool to see something like that.
Yeah.
And then there was other artists that were just doing like reproduction type posters and stuff, but like in a different style of art than they normally were or whatever. It was cool to see a lot of different stuff like that. I mean, you could if you're into this kind of stuff, which if you're there, you obviously are, you could just spend so much money there.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's people walking around with bags that had like 4 poster tubes in it, and like they're carrying around like a box of Funkos and stuff. And remember the guy we saw, we were walking through one of the aisles and we saw like this ridiculous, like $200 and something candy dish bowl that was Freddy like holding a candy dish. And like we looked,
a cereal bowl.
Okay. No, it wasn't a cereal bowl, it was a candy dish.
Are you sure about
I'm
that?
100% positive it was a candy dish. Yeah, it was like he was holding it for somebody to take the candy out of the thing. And we kind of looked at it and we both kind of laughed like, that's definitely what I need is a $200 and something Freddy Krueger candy dish. And then like 2 hours later, some guy walked past us and he had it in his hand and he bought it. Yeah. So like, obviously he needed it that bad.
I mean, it would be a pretty cool thing to leave out for trick-or-treaters.
Yeah. I mean, if you got the money to spend on stuff like that, then right on. But of course, that's nowhere in my budget.
In the first place, if you can drop $250 for a candy jar.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool looking. It definitely was cool looking. But it was funny that we kind of like made a joke about it, and then
like 15 minutes later, watched the one guy walk
that guy bought it. All right. So what else? I guess at that point, we do this first, or did we do these others first?
We did this first.
Okay, so Tyler bought something. So here comes our awesome YouTube again. See, this is if you're doing the podcast version, you are so missing out now because you really need to see this. So there was an artist there that did like these animation cell looking art pieces that are combo kids cartoon / horror. So the one Tyler got that you're seeing right now on YouTube, if you're watching, is combination of what Friday the 13th movie is this from?
6.
End of 6,
beginning of 7. He's got the chain around his neck. He's being held underwater, and the 2 fish from Finding Nemo are swimming up to him and like looking in his face, and like they're really well. The one fish is very happy to see him.
Yeah, I think it's cut out from the part where Dory is talking to the whale.
Okay.
And goes to touch it, but then like Martin is freaking out, like you should not go up to that whale. You are a tiny little fish. Yeah. So I think it's like cut out directly from that scene.
Awesome. So it's a Friday the 13th Finding Nemo mashup. So that's what this guy did. And so again,
and he signed it.
Yeah, and he signed it. So it was cool. Like he Tyler said, I want this one. He's like, cool. So he like pulled it out of his, big thing that he had all of his prints in. And then, but he took it out of the little protective piece and signed it for him, and just little signature down in the bottom, not like some big obtrusive look at me artist or anything like that. Yeah. Just a regular, artist print type thing. So then he put it back down in the thing, and it was $10, and it's an extremely little cool piece of art. So this guy had just all kinds of ones. There was one that was Scooby-Doo / Ash from Evil Dead. There was Pennywise one that was like Ronald McDonald down in the little sewer, and then it had Gene from Bob's Burgers like in the big hamburger costume.
And
like
I can still imagine exactly what he would say. He would be like, "I'm not supposed to talk to strangers, but all right."
Yeah, and we like had a conversation like with the artist guy. Like we can see like Gene